Hey guys, what's cracking? Godsman here, coming at you with the first Fated Clash spin. Yep, we're officially starting our Fated Clash tournament, and as you guys saw in the post there, today is a week of preparation. So everyone's getting their decks together, they're brushing off the rust, or they're learning the deck for the first time. They're mostly the former rather than the latter, because we all picked decks that we're pretty good with to some degree or another. We're all really hyped for this, and judging on the comments, you guys are pretty hyped about it too, which, you know, is music to my ears and my heart. So we're gonna go ahead and spin the first wheel here to see what our first matchup for Fated Clash is going to be. As you can see, we've got the main 6 Fated ones here. It's 1 per nation, which is why Liel and Morta was not included, and that's pretty good future-proofing, because I can imagine why, you know, some people would ask why we don't have Liel, and that's the reason. We want 1 per nation, which is what Fated Clashes normally were as per anime rules, and also in the future we may get other Fated Clash, like not Fated Clash, Fated 1 units for other nations. So when that starts coming to fruition, then we're having to pick 1 for nation anyway, instead of having the wheel be like 20 units by the time of 2026, you know? It just seems like better future proofing that way. So this is what we're gonna go with. With me, I've got Nabs and Xenon, because they were the only ones around who wanted to see the wheel.
Hello.
We're gonna have live reactions here. Let's see. Spin.
All right.
All right.
That.
All right. Who's first? Okay, so Chris Rain is up immediately. That's already happening. Okay. So that's interesting. Who's the opponent going to be? Ooh, all right. That's spicy. So Zorga versus Chris Rain. That's an interesting match. I mean, Zorga, I think in terms of like the deck core and how much power it outputs, it feels like it might have the advantage there. And it doesn't really do too much field retires, so I don't think Chris Rain's whole bounce back to him. But then again, maybe with the raw card advantage of Chris Rain, like Noir might be able to outlast Mass here. That's an interesting question.
This is a really interesting matchup because, as far as I'm concerned, thanks to the grade 2 triple rare that Chris Rain just got in set 2, these decks can actually. These decks can actually outrush each other if played properly.
That's true. I'm interested to see what they can do. Both of their card pools, they're kind of vast, so I can see some pretty convenient counters there. I can imagine that when thinking about their, like, let's see, their strategies, Zorga has some pretty cool Stoic Chaos stuff, so I think Zorga's strength is going to be that we don't know what version of Zorga Maz is going to bring to the table. I did a deck profile on 3 different distinct ways to play Zorga, and he says he's doing something that's kind of like one of them, but also a bit different, and I don't know which one that is, so it's going to add a little bit of mystery to it. Noir doesn't know either. But what Noir has an advantage in is the Zorga game plan is very distinct in what he's trying to do. His win condition is going to be probably clear, which is it's going to be big roaming prison dragons or abomination karmas, and you can run the heal triggers, where if you have if you're guarding against a unit that has like an extra critical that didn't come from a critical trigger, it gets like big shield, so he could run something like that. And Zorga doesn't have too much attrition to it unless he plays it. So yeah, this is interesting. It's a really interesting matchup. I'm really looking forward to what they gotta bring. Oh, what's up, Zenon?
Zorgan there actually falls under the category to proc both of the 15k plus 15k.
Oh, yeah, right? Like, I'd imagine, because you have the Divine Skill restand, so you're right about that. I'd imagine you'd go for the crit one anyway, because the crits are regardless of Divine Skill, so every turn he's doing, including, I think, on turn 2, right? If you roaming Prison Dragon on turn 2, the heal is still going to be 25, right?
I mean, that's if they go for the crit. Most times, they would probably go for the extra 10k power.
In before.
This is exciting.
This is exciting. This is a good one. All right, guys. Well, that's the wheel here,
like,
and
especially because.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, especially because this is the matchup where both decks can only multi-attack thanks to their divine skill. So they have to decide when's the perfect time to use it.
Oh, that's a good
it's
point.
really
They
exciting.
both have like that one limitation to them. They're both like beefy 3 attack decks, and they both have like different crit and power pressures. Ooh. And they both have like kind of good card pools to draw on through different necessities, right? Like Zorka uses different orders, and so that's a necessity of it diversifying its card pool. And you are incentivized to run a bunch of different units in Chris Rain, right? The whole pseudo Highlander thing, not quite Highlander. You can still run multiple copies and stuff and be fine, right? So yeah, there's a lot of similarities here, surprisingly. And also, just as a final point, I dig that it's a matchup we haven't seen in the anime. So we're getting to see 2 decks fight that haven't even fought. We also didn't do it on one of our fight nights, so I wonder. Like, who do you think between these two? Do you guys have like a favorite on who's gonna win this one? I'm kind of torn.
I have high hopes for Noir.
You have high hopes for
I-
Chris Rain. What about you, Zenon?
So obviously, as you said, the matchup's like pretty close between the two, but I believe Noir could pull out a win.
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. So no, and honestly, that yeah, I kinda want to agree on that. I somewhat feel that Zorga might take it here, but I don't think it's because of a matchup thing. I feel like what's going to happen is Zorga might have a trick up its sleeve, because if you, depending on the orders you play, you could really screw up Chris Rain. Like, for instance, if he leans more on Grudge Toxin and starts sniping some of Chris Rain's rears and stuff, and that's like that's burning the candle on both ends, you just never know. Yeah, you never know, because even like Chris Rain doesn't have as much burst as Zorga does. So if Maz goes Hyper Rush and he happens to hit the strong triggers, this could be over before we even see a divine skill. That's what makes Taboo in particular super scary. So we'll have to see, but it seems like votes are leaning a little bit more towards a Chris Rain, but it's such a good fight. So we'll have to watch at the fight table here. This video is going to be prior to the first fight, so whether I slap this and then immediately go into the Fated Clash, or it's its own separate video, I guess future you and future me will figure that out. But still, thank you for watching this vid here. I hope this tournament starts off to a great start, man. Oh boy. So with that said, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.